Okay, good afternoon. Hope this video finds everybody doing well. Today I want to talk about a few things. For the people going through the treatment that I'm going through, the medications and stuff make blood sugar difficult. A lot of people ask me about, a ketogenic diet and a lot of questions about that. So I figured I'd go over my personal take on it. Some of the things I do, how I approach my treatment. I know I made another video where I talked about my approach to chemo. Today I want to talk about how I manage blood sugar and what I do for my personal dietary stuff. First of all, I have to say this is not medical advice. Even though I am a board certified family nurse practitioner in Florida, if you have questions about your blood sugar, managing your blood sugar, you really need to talk to your oncologist and give them the opportunity to give you an opinion. I have a neuro-oncologist, I have a medical oncologist, I have a radiation oncologist, I have a neurosurgeon, and I also have a great primary care nurse practitioner who all play an important role in managing my health care. And, when I have a question, I ask them and I listen to what they have to say. And it's really important because your dietary needs and your blood sugar and your medicines are going to be very different based on, your health before this disease. Did you have high blood pressure before you got cancer? Well, you probably are still going to have high blood pressure afterwards, and it's going to affect how your treatment is carried out. And there's things you need to talk to your doctor about. In my case, I had some high blood sugar before I had this diagnosis. I've had high blood pressure since I was probably 13 years old. And I'm not diabetic, but I can tell you that my blood sugars, they are much higher with the treatment that I've been on since surgery than they were before surgery. And you probably would have classified me as pre-diabetic. So that's a little bit about my history. Let's start off with what I did this morning and how I started my day. This morning, I got up at 4 a.m. Breakfast for me was just a cup of espresso. It was a half a cup. It's 2 shots of espresso with a half a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of heavy cream. And that is all that I ate this morning. And that's not really eating. That's just having a liquid breakfast. I take labetalol and lisinopril and a B12 vitamin at 6 o'clock. I take 1,000 milligrams of 1,000 milligrams of Keppra and 2 milligrams of dexamethasone at 7 o'clock. And then I take 140 milligrams of Temodar, which is my chemotherapy, at 8:45. So that was my medication round this morning. Then I took my kids to school, and I went to the park. I walked 1.5 miles. I did kettlebell workout. I did a little bit of grocery shopping, and then I went and had my radiation treatment at 10:45 this morning. So now I'm home from radiation, and I am going to have my first real meal of the day. And I figured it would be interesting to show you, what my blood sugar does. And let's see, I don't know. So I'm going to give you the results live as I do it here. I'm going to test my blood sugar. I can tell you this morning my ketones were 0.2. And my fasting blood sugar was 100. And that was first thing in the morning as soon as I got out of bed. It says 6:20 on it, but that's not what time I took it. That was probably closer to 5:30 in the morning. I was on the road by 6:20 taking my kids to school because my son plays the ukulele at school. And that's awesome. Got to get him there early so he can practice. So I have a Keto Mojo meter. Is it a good meter? Yeah, it measures glucose and it measures ketones. And I tell all of my diabetic patients and all of my patients with blood pressure issues, listen, you got to measure it. If you don't measure your blood pressure, how do you know if your medications are working? If you don't measure your blood sugar, how do you know what your blood sugars are running and what your food is doing to you? So I tell my patients to measure. And the way I measure my blood sugar is I measure before I eat, which is what I'm going to do now. And I'm going to measure again an hour after I eat, an hour to 2 hours after I eat. I know in that time frame, that is when my blood sugar is going to peak. And the peaks are what you're really looking for, right? You want to see it peak, and then you want to see it go back down. Now, I'm going to show you what my blood sugar is, and I'm going to show you what my lunch is. I'm just letting the alcohol dry for a second because I don't want an alcohol reading. I want a blood sugar reading. All right. I load the little strip. Pop the finger. Nice drop of blood. Not really a big deal. So fasting blood sugar was 100 this morning when I woke up. After the dexamethasone, 137. So my blood sugar went from 100 to 137 just in the time between waking up and really I had nothing. I had no carbohydrate today. I've even exercised. So how did that happen? How did the blood sugar go up? Well, your liver is able to make blood sugar. And your liver does a perfectly good job. I got an error on that test strip. I'm sorry. It didn't like it. So I got to do my finger again. My liver decided to make sugar. And so it ran my blood sugar up all on its own to 137. The other day, my blood sugar was 158 before I ate lunch. So now what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to squeeze again here. I got another drop of blood. I'll see if another strip will do it. These strips do cost about $1 a piece, so let's see what we get. All right. And with a higher blood sugar, I doubt that my ketones are going to be very high, but look, ketones 0.7. So my ketones went up. So in my case, I am in nutritional ketosis, right? Anything over 0.5 is considered nutritional ketosis. And my blood sugar is 137, which would be a fine blood sugar, right? It's not diabetic, but you got to bear in mind that's a fasting blood sugar, which really kind of is diabetic. You know, fasting blood sugar greater than 120 is not great. And certainly with no carbohydrate eaten, my blood sugar should be like 80, right? But it is what it is. I got to take the dexamethasone because I don't want to have swelling from radiation and I don't want side effects from treatment and I want to finish this treatment. I want to be healed. So sometimes we got to deal with the side effects. So with that being said, let me get this camera set up. I'm going to show you what I'm going to eat for lunch and then I'm going to come back in an hour and show you what my blood sugar does. And I think you're going to be surprised. It's a pretty neat thing. Usually after I eat, my blood sugar goes down. It doesn't go up. And that's because I'm not going to eat any carbohydrates that are going to raise it up. And really, that's what you have to learn to do. If you're diabetic, you got to learn to count carbohydrates. And the only way you're going to know how much carbohydrate affects you is to test your blood sugar, eat, wait an hour, test again, and see how high it sends you. And for me, I don't want to be above 150. I don't want to be above 130. I'd like my blood sugars to stay right around 100 all day. And that's what we're going to see what happens. That's the goal. We'll see if we can achieve the goal. So let me turn this camera around. I'll show you meal one, and then we'll take a little break and come back for the round two results. So lunch for me today is a fantastic bacon, turkey, and cheese chaffle with a little bit of herbs, and I have a little giardiniera mix and olives, which is basically some palm hearts, some cauliflower, a pepper, and some olives. I will log this and take a screenshot of MyFitnessPal so you can see what my carbohydrate numbers look like. And I'm going to have a unsweetened black tea decaffeinated. All right, this is my first meal of the day. The other nice thing is because I don't eat around my Temodar, I don't experience any nausea, and even if I did, I don't throw up. There's nothing in my stomach to throw up. So that's how I get around having to take Zofran, which I could take. I just don't have to take it because I don't feel sick. Because really, I just take my Timidar with a glass of water and I haven't had anything to eat all day. That works for me. It may or may not work for you, but that's my approach, and that might be helpful for some of you struggling out there with that medication. All right, I'm going to eat this, and I will see you guys in an hour. It is now right around 12:30. So we'll see how this turns out around 1:30. See you then. All right, it's been about an hour. I'm going to retest my blood sugar here in just a second. I'm letting the alcohol dry on my finger. I went ahead and logged that meal in MyFitnessPal, and that was about 700 calories and 6 grams of carbohydrate. And not really any fiber. I mean, 5 pieces of Giardiniera mix isn't going to have any fiber. I know a lot of people worry about fiber. Listen, Keppra causes constipation. Pain medicines cause constipation. Timidar causes constipation. I'm on all these medications that cause constipation. I don't eat a ton of fiber, and I'm not constipated. I don't have an issue. So I'm not really concerned about the fiber. I have no problem going to the bathroom. I do take a stool softener at night, but it's not a laxative. It's just a stool softener. And that's to prevent having a problem, right? Prevention is the key. I also went ahead and looked up what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. I have a great cookbook by Carolyn Ketchum, Keto Soups and Stews. And I am going to have avgo lemon soup, which is basically cauliflower rice with chicken, a little lemon and egg, and it is 6.1 total carbohydrate per serving. And I'm going to throw some sausage in it too for extra fat. So Carolyn Ketchum, she's got a whole series of books, and this book's $19. And there's Instapot recipes, there's slow cooker recipes. That's a great cookbook. So I went ahead and logged that. I also logged my dessert. What I'm going to have for dessert tonight is a low-carb hot chocolate, which I'm going to make with unsweetened cocoa powder, toasted coconut milk, a little bit of stevia, and a piece of unsweetened baking chocolate. And I'm going to turn that into a hot chocolate, and I'm going to have a keto cup, which I showed in my dessert video. 2 net carbs. So for the day, I am at, just turn the thing over there. I mean to move the camera. 19 total carbs and 6 grams of fiber. So we're at 13 net carbs for the day is what I'm going to wind up at. And that's it. That's all the carbohydrate I'm going to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up here, and let's see what the blood sugar is an hour after eating 6 grams of carbohydrate. So poke the old finger and get a big old drop of blood. Trust me, I do not like poking my finger, but we got to do what we got to do. Blood sugar from 137. 1 hour later after eating, it went down to 100. Okay, that's what eating this type of diet does for you. Instead of my blood sugar going up and having to deal with high blood sugars, my blood sugar went down. I mean, how great is that? And just to see what the ketones did here, I did eat, so be surprised if the ketones went up, but they should be, let's see what we got. .4. All right, and that's just because I ate food. All right, my body doesn't need ketones as much when there's fuel on board, right? Your body is making ketones and blood sugar to try to regulate your metabolism. And that has a lot to do with hormones. It's very complicated. Your endocrine system is very complicated. It's not something that always works the way you think it would. And that's why eating this type of diet, it becomes counterintuitive, right? I ate a good lunch. That was a 750 calorie lunch with a ton of protein. And instead of my blood sugar going up, my blood sugar went down. Now, am I technically in ketosis? That's a 0.4. Well, 0.5 is nutritional ketosis. That's the definition, and I'm at 0.4. Well, your ketone levels are going to fluctuate all day. And being in and out of ketosis is not the end of the world. I honestly and truly don't care if I'm in ketosis. I really care about my blood sugar being well controlled and not having side effects from my medication. All right, me keeping my blood sugar down does more for my healing than anything else I can do. All right, so not having a ton of blood sugar around for me is a great thing. All right, now, mind you, I'm eating to fight cancer. I'm not eating to lose weight. If you have different goals, you eat differently. All right, for a period of time, I was eating 3,500 calories a day to try to gain weight in preparation for this whole process. I'm not trying to gain any more weight. I did gain weight. I gained about 5 pounds. But now I'm fasting every day, and I probably will lose some weight, and I'm okay with that. But you have to eat to fit your needs, and you have to meet your nutritional goals, and you have to measure. So measure before you eat, measure after you eat, and then you have to figure out how to interpret the results. Okay, and that's something you talk to your doctors about. And if you can't get a handle on it, you get help with it, right? Dr. Jason Fung has some great YouTube videos on fasting and how hormones affect insulin and blood sugar levels. But that's a great thing to watch if you're interested in that kind of thing. But it doesn't work the way you think it works. Like I said, I ate a great meal and my blood sugar went down. And now it's going to stay down the rest of the day because I'm going to have a good dinner. I'm going to have a good snack. And then we start over again fasting in the morning. And you can see my blood sugar is basically 100 all the time, except for the short period after which I take my steroid and it goes up for a little while. All right. And to be honest with you, if I ate breakfast, it probably would stay down too. But think about how much worse my blood sugar would be if I ate a standard American diet. I had 6 grams of carbohydrate, okay? I'm going to have 13 grams of net carbs, 19 grams of total carbs for the day. Think about if I had a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast, or a bowl of cereal, or pancakes and eggs. My blood sugar would not have been 137 after my steroid. My blood sugar would have been 200 to 300. And that's where you start getting the side effects of arterial damage, right? Wounds not healing. Nerve damage, neuropathy. And let me tell you, if you're trying to heal your brain, you don't need nerve damage and you don't need neuropathy. And if you're taking medications that cause you to be less active, tired, fatigued, and you're sitting in bed, you don't need arterial injuries that are going to cause you to be more likely to form a blood clot, or having high blood sugar making you susceptible to infection and pneumonia, or just delaying the healing process altogether. So those are just things to bear in mind. It's a process, not a destination. It does take time to get a handle on it. Always feel free to like, subscribe, send me a message. I'll answer your questions. It's not medical advice, but it is, my personal take, right? I can't offer medical advice or medical consultations over YouTube, but I am willing to help where I can. And that's what this type of video is for. The hair loss is continuing. I know you guys are curious. You see the hat, but it looks good, right? It is, baby butt smooth on this side. There's the whole thing. And I still have plenty of hair over here. So it really is radiation hair loss. And that's just where the radiation is hitting it. I'm going to go put some lotion on that, some aloe in a minute. And listen, I feel great. Love every minute. Live it while you're in it. Take care of your body. Love your life. And, what can I say? God bless you. Hope you have a great day. So I just finished up my walk for today, and I'm Sitting here waiting to do radiation, and I was reviewing the videos I shot yesterday, and I realized I neglected a few things. So some important points to take home from the video. First of all, what is a carbohydrate? Your carbohydrates are going to include breads, pasta, rice, grains, and most of the things that come out of a box. If it says healthy and it's in a box, it's probably not healthy and you probably shouldn't eat it. Food manufacturers really just don't tell the truth, let's be honest. And oatmeal and cereal and healthy whole grains are just full of carbohydrate, and they're really not going to help you reach your goals, especially if you're trying to control your blood sugar. A lot of people wind up just taking more medication to eat these foods that are really just not good for you. Other carbohydrates include fruit juices, sweetened beverages, sodas. Those are obvious, right? And then there's the not so obvious fruits: bananas, apples, pears, oranges. We're taught, eat your fruits. They're good for you. Well, they are good in some aspects, but if your blood sugar is high, they're not doing you any favors. And there are a lot of ways to get those nutrients which don't involve eating the fruit. All right. They're just not doing you any favors in terms of blood sugar. All right. And we can go back and forth and dispute the health benefits of any given food, but the truth is high blood sugar is really going to damage you, and if you're not controlling it, then you got to get a handle on it. All right? And that means eating foods that are going to give you the nutrients without giving you the high blood sugar. And there are lots of those: cauliflower, bok choy, broccoli, zucchini, mushrooms, collard greens, turnip greens, mustard greens, spinach, kale. There are tons of vegetables out there. Zucchini, tons of vegetables that don't have much in terms of blood sugar, that have a ton of nutrients, that will give you all of those things that you would get from eating, whole grains and fruits without messing up your blood sugar. The other thing I would tell you is don't guess. Okay? If you're going to do a diet that restricts carbohydrate, you need an app or something that tells you what you're eating and what you're getting in terms of nutritional value and carbohydrates. That includes MyFitnessPal, Chronometer. There's a host of apps you can use. You can also use a good old-fashioned pen and paper and write down how many carbs, how many fiber, and do an old-fashioned food diary. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And most of these foods can be looked up on the internet. Almost every food label has a carbohydrate count, fiber count on it. And then the question becomes, well, how many carbs do I eat? I eat 20 grams or less a day in carbohydrate. I get that number from Dr. Eric Westman, who treats people for diabetes and obesity at Duke University. That is the number he uses for most of his patients, because that's the level at which most patients will wind up in a state of ketosis. Okay? So I limit mine to 20 total grams of carbohydrate per day. That's not net, that's total. All right? Is that the number that's right for you? Who knows? All right? Your carbohydrate intake is really going to depend on your fitness level, your activity level, the medications you take, if you have diabetes, if you don't have diabetes, and your fitness and nutritional goals. Okay? So I can't tell you how many carbs to eat. And obviously I've said it before, this is not medical advice, but you really have to figure it out, and that involves measuring your blood sugar. Okay? It all goes back to testing. All right? You want to get those numbers down. All right? And that's very simple to do. You just get you a $10 blood sugar meter from Walmart, if that's a place you like to go. I tell you what, I don't go in Walmart anymore. Or you order it on Amazon, or you have your doctor prescribe you one and get it from your insurance company for free. Listen, your insurance company wants you to test your blood sugar, all right, if you have blood sugar issues. And I can guarantee you, if you're on steroids long term, or you are going through some treatment process, you might have issues with blood sugar. It wouldn't hurt you to take a test and see. All right, that's something you can talk to your oncologist about, your doctor about, your primary care doctor, but you really have to keep a handle on it. So I hope that information is helpful to you. You know, I looked up a cup of oatmeal. Half a cup of oatmeal has 27 grams of carbohydrate. A cup of Cheerios without milk has 20 grams of carbohydrate. And the milk, you know, fat-free milk would have 9 grams of carbohydrate. You're looking at more carbs than I eat in a whole day in one meal. And that's before you even add anything else into it, right? Who eats 1 cup of cereal? Nobody. You eat 2 cups with 2 cups of milk. Who eats 1 cup of oatmeal? Well, no one who's going to be satisfied for any length of time. You know, what happens is your blood sugar goes up and you get hungry. And when you get hungry, you eat more. And when you eat more, your blood sugar goes higher. And it becomes a vicious cycle of hunger and eating and hunger and eating. When I eat, I'm not hungry anymore. I am full of fat. I am loaded with energy. And I'm okay if I don't eat again for hours. Because my blood sugar didn't go up, it went down. And that's really what you're looking to do, is eat foods that give you energy and not give you that roller coaster effect of up and down blood sugars and, really damaging your health. All right. If it comes in a box and it says healthy, it's not healthy. The only fat packaged food I eat are frozen vegetables. And those are, obviously way better. The argument people make for me is, well, isn't eating a whole bunch of fat and no fiber, isn't that terrible for you? Well, if you're eating a standard American diet, you're eating a whole bunch of fat and no fiber. Okay? There's no fiber in hamburger buns, dinner rolls. There's not a whole lot of fiber in pasta. There's no fiber in white rice. There's some fiber in fruit, sure. But there's a lot of sugar in fruit too. The two kind of cancel each other out. So say you eat a hamburger. It's hard to make an argument that eating a hamburger with mayonnaise and bacon is going to be less healthy than eating a hamburger with mayonnaise, bacon, a bun, French fries, and a soda. That's the standard American diet. Obviously, the hamburger by itself is going to be healthier. All right? If I eat bacon and eggs for breakfast, well, that's going to be healthier than eating bacon, eggs, buttered toast, pancakes, waffles, or a cinnamon roll, or donuts. Okay? That's the standard American diet. If I go have a steak with olive oil and, that's basically what I would have. I eat a big ribeye, 20 ounces. That's going to be healthier than having a steak and potatoes and a dinner roll and a useless Caesar salad. And let me tell you, right now, romaine lettuce is being recalled again because people are getting sick from E. coli from romaine lettuce. Who would want to get sick and die from a Caesar salad? Makes no sense. All right. Croutons are not making you healthier. So skipping the healthy whole grains, I think that's a great idea. They're not healthy, and they're not doing you any favors if your blood sugar is high. All right. So I know it's a long video. I hope the information helps. This is my perspective. It's not medical advice. It's what I do. You got to find your own path. Find the food that works for you. It's not about morality or, it's not about being a part of some kind of food cult. It's about well-being. And, your health is your own. There's no other greater gift than you have than your health. So do what you got to do to preserve it. Take care of yourself. And I hope you find a diet and a path that works for you. I've obviously found what works for me. So have a great day. God bless you. And we'll see you in the next video. All right.